So good morning, class. My name is Miss Emily Lara, and we're going to be learning about three-dimensional shapes. We're in second grade mathematics. So the lesson objective, students will be able to differentiate between three-dimensional shapes, describe the shape's attributes, and identify three types of prisms. Identify different types of prisms. Sorry about that. So what do we know already? So we know, for example, this is a circle. It has no edges, no vertices. It's just one big connected, just one big circle. There's no edges, no lines. It's just connected fully. And it has one face. Then we have our rectangle, and it's going to have four edges, 1, 2, 3, 4. Four vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4. And vertices, remember, they are connectors between the lines. So these are the corners that we have. Then we have a triangle, and this one also has one face. So we have our triangle, has 1, 2, 3 vertices, 1, 2, 3 lines, and then one face, correct? Then we have our parallelogram, has 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4 edges, and one face. Then we have a trapezoid. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, and then one face. So here we all have everything, and it's all of these are called 2D shapes, correct? And 2D shapes, they're what? Flat. So we usually see them on papers, we cut them out, and so they're all 2D. However, what are we learning about today? So here we have a sphere. So compare this sphere to this circle. What's the difference? One looks more real life, correct? So this sphere, we can actually see in real life. It's more, what would you say is real life? So compared to this cube looks like a Rubik's Cube or an ice cube. And guess what? It has not just four, because look, this kind of looks like a square. It has four edges, four vertices, but then look, it has other stuff back here. So we call this 3D shapes. So 3D shapes, they are more real life. You have a sphere, which looks like a ball, a cube that looks like an ice cube, a cone that looks like an ice cream cone, a cylinder, looks like those cans of food that our parents buy. A prism looks like a tent. A pyramid looks like a pyramid. And a rectangular prism, it looks like buildings, or it can look like your cereal box. It looks more real life, correct? So what are three-dimensional shapes? They're shapes which can be measured in three directions, which is why they're called three-dimensional shapes. They can be measured in length, width, height, or depth and thickness. And these are the three measurements of the shapes. So we can have length, width, and height. Length, width, and height. And so that's how you would measure them. You can measure them all by using this. And so remember what we were doing with regular shapes, but now we're going to be learning them with 3D shapes. So here we have our edges, and then we have a faces. So three-dimensional shapes, they have what? Many faces. They don't just have one, they're not flat. They have different faces. There's a face here, a face here. There's a face back here, and another face over here, and a face on the bottom, and a face on the top. And then they have more vertices. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's going to be an 8 back here. So it's the same thing we learned with the 2D shapes, but we're learning them with 3D shapes. So they're going to have more, and it's going to be a little bit more complex. So based off what we know already, what can we tell? Which is a rectangular shape? So we can tell which one has a triangle? This is a triangle, correct? So, and then this is a triangle, correct? So those are all triangular prisms. So that's a triangle, that's a triangle. So this is the only rectangular prism. And so we can use this by going back over here. So how can we tell which shapes they are? So this is a prism. Prisms look like this. A cylinder has a circle and like goes like this. A sphere is more roundish. A cube has a square. It's a bunch of squares connected. Here we have our cone. Then we have a rectangular prism, which shows our rectangle. And another rectangle. And then this is a triangular prism actually, because look, it has a triangle here, and then it has a prism, which makes it 3D. So we would call this a triangular prism. And this is a rectangle. You see the rectangle, and then it's a prism. So going back here, that's how we are able to determine what is a rectangular prism. We have a rectangle, and then there you can see the different vertices. So just by looking here, how many edges can we see? We can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 edges, and then how many vertices, connectors? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 connectors. And then we're gonna do the same for our triangular prism. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertices. So 5 vertices, 5 connectors. We have the 5 points. And then we have how many edges? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 edges. And then now we're going to count the faces, which is a little bit harder, but we'll get through it. So 1 here, 1's at the top right here. Then 2 is right here on the side, another 3 on the side, and then 4. Here's our 4th one. That's our triangular prism. Now let's do how many faces are in the rectangle. 1, 2 on the side, 3 up front, 4 on the top, 5 on the bottom, and then 6 in the back. So even if we can't see that 6 in the back, we know it's there because it's not open, it's closed. So that is. And so these are actually the same. So this is both a triangular prism. They're both triangular prism. And this is our rectangular prism. So now I'm going to be handing out a worksheet. So this is what you're going to be doing. So here I already did the first one for you guys. So here we have a rectangular prism. And so it's going to have how many, and so you're going to cut these out and you're going to put in your notebook how many edges they have, how many faces, and how many vertices. So let's do this one again. So it has how many edges? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It has 12 vertices. It has 12 edges. Let's do how many vertices, how many connectors? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 connectors. And let's do how many faces? 1, 2, 3, 4 on the side, 5, and 6 on the bottom. So we have 6 faces. So we're going to pass out this paper and we're going to cut out everything, and you're going to be showing all the different edges, all the different vertices, which are connectors, and then all of the different faces. So let's just do the cone real quick, just because that one is a harder one. So it has 1, 2 edges. Then it's going to have 1 face. It's that 1 circle, that 1 face, and then the 1 connector. It's that 1 point right there. And so because I already explained it to everyone, you shouldn't have no problem doing it, except if you have any questions. Like let's see, does everyone so if I were to ask you guys, how many edges does this one have? Would you be able to tell me? Yes. And what is an edge? Edge is a line. It's one of the edges. So it's not a face. It's not a face. It's not a flat surface. An edge. An edge is where usually 2 faces connect. So it makes a little mark, it'll make a little angle, and so that is an edge. So it's going to be this one and this one. That's an edge. And then the vertices is what? The connection between the two edges, the two lines going across, correct? And so that's why you're going to have to do it. Make sure you pay attention because we are going to have a quiz coming up once you're completed with this assignment. So ask a friend, and if a friend doesn't know, come and ask me, and we'll go through it again. And so I'll leave this on the board to make sure you guys remember what is a vertice, what are faces. So vertices again are connections between the two edges, and edges are the edge of two faces. And then the faces are the flat surface, and a face is usually a flat surface, so that's the difference between a shape and a 3D shape. 2D shapes only have one face. Our 3D shapes that we're learning about today have multiple faces. So that's what you have to keep in mind. Let's go back. And so once we completed this item, here's our quiz. So it's going to be 3D geometry riddles. So here we have, it's a riddle. So you're going to solve this riddle to figure out the answer. So here we have, I have some circular faces. I have two curved edges. I have no vertices, which is no corners. Who am I? So we go through the list. So here we have, here's this one. It's a cylinder. Here we have a rectangle, a cube. Here we have a sphere. Here we have a rectangular prism. Here we have a cone, and here we have a triangular prism. So we're going to go through all of this. So we're going to have these have two lines, two edges, and then it has a face here and a face on the bottom, but we can't see it, but there's two faces, correct? It's a circular face. Now let's move on to the second one. There's no corners on this one. Here we have 1, 2, 3. Here we have our cube. It has 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 vertices right here, but 5, 6, 7, 8 that are in the back. 8 vertices in total, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 lines. So with this one, if you want to draw it again on another sheet of paper so you can see the different lines, you can. Because I know on these pictures, you don't see them, or you can draw them in yourself. But that's going to be our quiz for today. So make sure you complete this assignment and fully understand how to determine what is a vertice, what is an edge, and what are corners, and how you can see them on 3D shapes compared to when we were seeing them on 2D shapes. And so what is the difference between a 2D and a 3D shape? 1, 3D shapes have many faces. Another one can be 3D shapes we see in real life. And then another one can be, what is another one can be? Another one can be, we can actually grab these, and there's more faces, there's more edges, more vertices. Except for a sphere, they have no vertices and no edges. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's lesson, and that will be it for today.